Hello, my name is Sani. I'm a plumbing and heating engineer. I currently work for the local housing association, Newport City Homes. Um, my journey to Newport City Homes is quite a lengthy one. I'll try and summarize it up as much as possible so as not to bore anyone listening and watching this video. Um, I came over to the UK in 2004. I was born in Nigeria. I grew up there. I left Nigeria when I was just short of a couple of months of being 14 years of age. So I've already had a good upbringing and things like that from Nigeria. When I moved over to the UK, I joined the local school, which was Dufferin High School, currently called, I can't remember the name. So it's changed, the name has changed now. John Frost Square, John Frost School, I believe it's called now. So yeah, that's the school that I went to. I particularly would say moving to a new surroundings, new country, new system altogether. I would say I practically didn't do as good as I should have because I couldn't really stay focused when I was in school. Really didn't pay much attention to majority of the classes, the lessons, and really didn't come away with good GCSEs. However, I did come away with good mathematics GCSE. It's one of my favorite subject. It was good. After I finished the GCSEs, I went on to study BTech level 2 in IT and business, which I ended up dropping the business. After that, I did the I dropped the business, but I picked up engineering, so BTech level 2 engineering. I did that. I really enjoyed the engineering aspect of it and what I had to do for the course. Once I completed that, in the middle of doing my GCSE, my BTech level 2 in the AS level, the first year, I was doing part-time work in a bakery. So as soon as I finished that year in school, year 12, I ended up in just leaving school altogether. So I went into full-time work, working in a bakery. Again, living in Newport, majority of people have probably worked and passed through the bakery, Havana Bakeries. So I worked there for several years, picking up different experiences, moving up the ranks within the company there. I believe just before I left, 4 years or almost 5 years later, I was along the lines of becoming the assistant line manager there. My experience there really taught me a lot. Majority of people that I worked with there actually inspired me to make a difference and make a change for myself. While I was working there, there are people doing the same job, coming in, day out, fair play to them. They've been there for 20, 30 years, and some of them are, double my own age. And even though I was quite relatively new compared to them, I was moving up the rank in there a bit quicker than they were, and they were still doing the same thing over the past 20, 30 years. That really struck me, and I realized, okay, no matter how far I want to get in life, this might not be the perfect position for me to be. So I decided to take the leap. I left work and I went into college full time after I heard about the plumbing course and the building industry. Essentially, I went into the plumbing. I went there. I fell in love the first time I went into the workshop, and I never looked back really. Majority of people told me, well, you're never going to get an apprenticeship because that's basically how you're going to make the make it become a plumber, become a gas fitter, gas engineer. They said the positions are very rare. You're never gonna get one. You from the black ethnic minority black background, there's not many of you in the industry. You're not going to get the opportunities. You're just not gonna get it. And I said, well, at least I'm going to give it a go. And that's what I did, exactly that. I went into college studying full time. So my first year was, it was a good year. I did, and I applied and applied and applied for several organizations, several companies within the localities to apply for apprenticeship. So I couldn't get anything. Out of say 100 different applications and different letters sent to cover letters sent to companies, maybe two or three will reply. So it's quite disheartening when you have that situation. But nevertheless, I kept on pushing on and doing the best that I can, uh, working working in college, working as hard as possible. In between working as hard as possible in college, also I was volunteering in a local community, down Maislas. One of the projects that I was very proud of being part of was the mural on the wall, and we got all our names on the artwork down there, and it's still there. It's been good 12, 13 years now easily, and that's still on the wall, which shows the effort that the guys at the time putting into those projects. Volunteering really helps a lot when you can build a lot of experiences from it, and it will give you energy to focus on things that are greater in life when that time comes. The experiences you gain from it is used, and you will not regret volunteering because you get a lot of positives from it. Not only does it add to your CV, it also adds to the experience that you build up, whether it's communication skills, whether it's interaction skills, whether it's people skills, all those type of things you build up doing, giving some hours back to the community. I don't want to ramble on too much, so moving on, I was in college for the first year studying plumbing. I did excellently well, and I was given the Student of the Year award during that year, being much more of a mature student as well. I was 20 years of age, I believe, when I was in college as a full-time student, while looking for an apprenticeship. So that's another downside. People say, oh, well, you're too old to get an apprenticeship. Apprentices usually start at 16, straight out of school. So all these odds were stacked against me getting one essentially. And luckily, I finished my first year. I had 6 weeks holiday, summer holiday, like as you do in college. Ready for my second year, my level 2 in college. I had nothing to do. I wasn't working. So what I did, I wrote to one of the local company, which funny enough is the company that I work for currently, Newport City Homes. I wrote to them and requested if they can give me work experience. I was fortunate enough that they did give me the work experience. So I worked with them for 2 weeks. I absolutely enjoyed every single minute of it, and I requested for them to extend it for another 2 weeks since I had nothing else to do anyway. So they were able to give me that extra 2 weeks, again, essentially working for 4 weeks with them, gaining vital experiences. Come to the second year, as I was starting in college as a full-time student, I heard the Newport City Homes, along with other companies within the localities, were taking on apprentices. I applied for it amongst my other colleagues in my class. I believe it was about 15 of us then. Applied for it. There was only 4 positions available, so it's very tight and it's very competitive. And obviously, outside of my class, there were hundreds of other applicants as well within the localities of Newport. I was fortunate, out of the 4 positions available, to be given an opportunity to become one of their apprentices. One of the things that I believe helped me at the time to be successful within my interview for the job as an apprentice was the fact that I had volunteered within the local community. I had done a lot of other works as well, working in a bakery for several years, and also doing that work experience when I had nothing else to do, which was actually a few weeks before my interview. So that really helped me because it showed a lot that I was willing to give a lot of time out. I was willing to do much more and to progress myself as an individual. So they saw that ambition and they took it on board. Fast forward 2 years into my apprenticeship, I was given the Apprentice of the Year award within the organization, Newport City Homes. I believe at the time it was around between 40 and 50 apprentices there. I was quite fortunate because I was doing the best that I can on a day-to-day basis with my colleagues and everybody else. So I worked hard and I was given that Apprentice of the Year. I was awarded it. Third year into my apprenticeship, I started. So the first 2 years was the plumbing. You become a fully qualified plumbing engineer, but then there's another 2 years which is the gas side of things, which is the heating. That again, in the third year, I was awarded Outstanding Achiever of the Year within the Newport Construction Initiative. I was quite proud of that one, as my picture with the mayor of Newport then was in the Newport magazine, and it was distributed in all the houses in Newport. So that showed a lot of encouragement for myself to keep on pushing and working hard at what I do, doing what I do best. And for 4 years into my apprenticeship as a fully qualified engineer, there was 2 available positions, one full-time, one part-time, one temporary, one full-time permanent, one temporary position. And I was fortunate enough, out of the 4 apprentices there at the time, I was fortunate enough to be given the full-time permanent duty. And I've been working with the company now almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in this year. And seriously, I've developed massively working with them, gained a lot of experience, enjoyed what I do. The opportunities when you are a fully qualified gas engineer, it's incredible. You earn good money. You can work for yourself as a sole trader, as an individual, so owning your own company. You can work as hard as you want in that regard. You can go out contracting to subcontractors. You can go and work for different firms. You can work for manufacturers. You can work for housing associations. You can work for private lettings. There's a lot of opportunities within the industry, and you can work abroad, which is one of the main things that I think is good for the opportunities that are out there for heating and plumbing engineer. You can go anywhere across the world. The trade is recognizable, and there is a demand within the trade abroad as well as it is within the UK. Currently, you can walk out of one job and essentially walk into another one. There's great life balance within the work-life balance, being a plumber. Also, I currently work for an organization, and I also run my own company besides the organization, which I choose how many hours I do. I choose whether I want to do the extra work when people contact me and things like that. So I've been running my own business as well for the past 5 years, alongside my full-time duties. And they both go hand in hand. I do my 8 hours with my organization, with the company I work for, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and it leaves me with the evenings and weekend to do any other work that I want to do for myself. The opportunities are there, the earnings are great, and you can move on from being a gas engineer to other aspect of the construction industry. Prime examples, one of my managers in work that manages the workforce of the tradespeople used to be a gas engineer himself, now he's the manager, and from then he can move on to different managerial positions within the organization and outside the organization as well. So you're not just limited to becoming a tradesman and a tradesperson and that's it. If you have the ambition and the drive to keep on developing yourself and moving on and improving, you will progress to bigger and better things. You can become a site manager, you can move on to doing surveying, as some of my colleagues are doing. You can move on to doing surveying, you can move on to doing inspecting. So there's a lot of opportunities within the industry, and also you can move into the academia side of things, tutoring, teaching, and it's really great to give back. Sometimes in work I do do the mentoring of the apprentices, and it's great to be able to pass that knowledge back to people. My advice to the youngsters in this current climate, in this current situation, I believe is, if you want to achieve something, it's not going to be handed to you. You have to work hard, step out there, and do the best that you can. Personally, if you're looking to get into the trades industry, into the construction industry, best way to go, apply, make up your CV, speak to careers advisors. If you have time on your hands, then ring some companies up, say you're willing to give some time just to come and shadow some of their workers, do some work experience, and gain an idea of what the industry is like within itself. And when you're in, essentially the people you're going to be working with, you're going to be speaking to them, you're going to be learning from them, and they'll know your name for that reason alone. When an opportunity comes along somewhere, one way, shape, or form, they might inform you, giving you a heads up before everybody else knows about them. It could be within the organization they work for, it could be within external organization as they deal with people in the merchants and things like that. So the words get about, really. Those are the ways you can give yourself a foot in the door ahead of everybody else. Again, the stereotype and things like that, I wouldn't fall for it. I'm a prime example. Wasn't born in this country. Now I work for an organization that really appreciate everybody and anyone, really. So there's not enough of the black ethnic minorities within the industry itself. So I would encourage more from the background to come forward and to take the steps. Not everybody is geared up to become a lawyer, or not everybody wants to become a lawyer or a medical student or a solicitor for that matter. So there's different avenues you can take your career at, and you're a professional in the way you're dealt with. You're well respected. If somebody doesn't have heating, hot water, they really appreciate your services every time you come out to them and fix their boilers and things like that. So the positivity that you get is incredible. Well, I hope this was able to inspire anyone that was listening. If you do have any questions, my email could be provided and my contact telephone number, and I wish you the best of luck in the future. Thank you.